Hey, sports fans, football season is here, and it's time to get in on the action with MyBookie.net. MyBookie has real Vegas odds and incredible player props for all your favorite sporting events. MyBookie offers in-game live action on all pro and college football games. There's no better time to join MyBookie than today. Pull out your smartphone and visit our user-friendly mobile site for adrenaline on demand. Open your browser and type in MyBookie. What are you waiting for? Call 844-722-2387 or go online to join MyBookie today. No deposit necessary. Terms and conditions apply. Play for fun only. Void where prohibited.
Have a product, service, or website to advertise on the biggest show in the world? The SBTV Nation podcast reaches tens of thousands of the best sports fans on the planet in over 194 countries worldwide. Take your business to the next level by advertising with us. Call us now at 872-529-SBTV or email us at sbtvnation@gmail.com.
Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
the biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world. The SBTV Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. This is Rob, the Mad Hatter. We are the SBTV Nation. We are finally on live, and I think I got my man, the Dream, on the other line. Dream, are you there today?
I'm here. What's going on, player?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm doing a lot better than the New York Metropolitans are today. Unfortunately,
Actually, you're not.
I'm not.
Actually, you're doing about the same as the New York Metropolitans.
Guys, they had a little technical difficulties this morning, but we are here. We are live, and we are on Twitter right now, SBTV Nation. Dream, I watched a lot of the game last night, and what a pitching duel between Madison Bumgarner and Noah Syndergaard. And you know what? Noah Syndergaard was actually pitching lights out. Sure enough, they go into the bullpen, and Familia blows it again, Dream.
You know, the Mets kind of backed their way into this thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
San Fran as well. So, it's hard when you look at it to, I know a lot of Met fans, you're out there, you're really disappointed, you're really salty. And I do want to say something just about being a New York sports fan in general. But unfortunately, you were decimated with injuries. So I think that even getting to this point, if I told you at the end of July that you were going to have a wild card opportunity, I think you would have taken it as a Met fan.
I agree with you, Dream.
All right. So, considering the injuries and considering you did make it to the wild card, I know it's bittersweet because you obviously wanted to win that game and move forward. But, you were decimated with injuries. You lost, all kinds of pitching got lost. You know that pitching wins, the games as far as playoffs are concerned. So you gotta kind of, it's a bittersweet happening, but you still can hold your head up because you honestly probably shouldn't have even been there.
Well, I can tell you this much, that first of all, Familia chokes again. Okay, now he choked in Game 1 of the World Series last year. Everybody remembers it. The Mets had the lead. I believe it was in the bottom of the 9th inning, and he ended up giving up runs, and they ended up losing Game 1. And I believe that solidified the whole demise of the New York Mets going back to the World Series last year. Now, this year, Thor comes out and pitches amazing through 8 innings. I think it was 7 innings to be exact. And sure enough, Familia comes in and blows it again. Now, maybe he is the new David Price of the playoffs, because he is just, he's a regular season juggernaut. Absolutely amazing. but then just cannot perform in the big game. So it's bothersome to me, Dream. It really is. So I just don't know what to make of it right now. So, hey, we'll see what ends up going down with that particular situation and that particular organization. But as you did refer to, Dream, the New York Mets, when you look at their season as a whole, they were down to 60-62 with 122 games into the year. Okay? 122 games into the year. 60-62. At that point, nobody had any kind of faith in them whatsoever that they were going to make the playoffs. Hats off to Terry Collins. Terry Collins kept this group together and made it work. And you know what? They ended up making the wild card. Dream, you there, right? Dream is breaking off, coming back and forth here with us, guys. But it's all good. We'll get him on momentarily. But when you look at this, here's my proposal. Here's my proposal with the MLB playoffs. Whether, now, you know that I was on the Mets, and I was hopeful that this team could make a run. But obviously with all the injuries, it's going to be tough. My proposal is this. What I think they should do, instead of playing 162 games, bring it down to 160. Because those last two games, when you have Colorado versus Atlanta, where you have the Reds versus, the Tampa Bay, or you have some nasty, brutal games that nobody's watching anyway. Cut those games back. Cut it down to 160 games on the ticket. Then what ends up happening is then now we could play a 2 out of 3 wild card game, because baseball is a team sport. It should not rely on just one pitcher as far as a one and done. Now, I know that a lot of teams out there may, cycle in a bunch of pitchers and stuff like that, and I know that Familia would have most likely, whether it was 2 out of 3 or this one, would have pitched. But I feel that 2 out of 3 would be the best bet. Maybe do like whoever has home field plays 2 out of the 3. And then you travel for one game. I think that's the way it should work, to be honest with you. So in a perfect world, that means that the season would have ended on Friday. Then you start off with a wild card, 2 out of 3 in the weekend. That's my understanding, and that's probably the best bet in my humble opinion. But who am I? I'm just a radio talk show host, having a very good time and talking to my people at the SBTV Nation. So it's all good, guys, and we will keep it moving and go from there. Thank you to everybody on here right now that's tweeting at us. I got my man, Big Mike, showing me some highlights from the Ohio State game. As you were there, man, congratulations on that big win. They got some big tasks ahead of them, including Michigan coming up, guys. Now, we've got the MLB playoffs. They are here. They are among us. And, going back to the Toronto and Orioles game, same thing. I really feel, honestly, that 2 out of 3 for the wild card would be the most efficient. And I think it would definitely provide the better team to move on. It's either that or just have the one wild card team, just like there were in years past. The one and done, especially when you have 162 games in a whole long year, my feeling is that you gotta you have to have a series. A one and done. In football, it makes sense. Not in baseball. Not in baseball at all. So I'm going to pull this up right now, guys. And I apologize that the Dream had to bounce off here. We're having some technical difficulties. But you know what? We'll probably get him back momentarily and go from there. But today, for all you junkies out there, we've got games during the day moving forward the next couple of days. And we have at 4:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So all you gamblers out there got to get your plays in before 4 o'clock. 4:30 rather. You got Marco Estrada for the Toronto Blue Jays at the Texas Rangers with Cole Hamels on the bump. Cole Hamels has been absolutely outstanding, lights out this year. Texas is minus 135 with an under-over of 9. Now, obviously you guys know there was the big fight during the year with Rougned Odor and Batista and all that. But I think from what I understand that they're putting this aside and they're getting ready to play some baseball without any fireworks That's what both teams are saying. But we'll see how it ends up shaking out in the heat of the moment. But the Rangers have been very, very good at home, guys. And when you look at the Rangers and what they have done in the last 25 games at home, they've won 17 of them. This team is very tough to beat. They are. And obviously you've got Yu Darvish and Cole Hamels with the 1-2 punch as far as the rotation is concerned. But, Toronto's coming in and bringing in Marco Estrada. Toronto's been getting better. And I don't think the bullpen has been as bad as it was in the beginning of the year. So both of these teams score a lot of runs. Toronto, 4.69 runs per game. Texas, 4.72. This is going to be a really, really tough series to gauge. I think Texas is going to pull away on the series just because they're so very good at home. And you already know that Toronto already had to pitch Stroman in the wild card game. So looking at it here, I don't have a side for today's game. However, I do really feel that the Texas Rangers are going to emerge in this series and get it done, finally. And definitely get some payback for last year. Now, Cole Hamels is 3.32 as far as his ERA is concerned, 15-5 overall as far as his record, where Marco Estrada has been .500, 9-9 with a 3.48 ERA. 500 record, so he's obviously not getting the run support when he's up on the bump. So, looking at this game, don't be surprised if Texas doesn't get game one. But I don't think I'm going to play it. There's a lot of other stuff going on, including football, which we're going to get into in a couple of minutes. We got pro and collegiate football going on. But this is something to watch during the day. I got my big wall of TVs up in my office, so I'll definitely have this game on as I'm working and making money out there. And that's pretty much that. So looking at the rest of the landscape and what is going on here as far as the MLB is concerned, Dream of Year, you are not.
I'm there.
All right. Cool, man. Cool. So I'm just going through the MLB card.
All right.
So I already went through Toronto and Texas. I already did my spiel on that. I'm sure you don't really have much of an opinion on it. I do think that Texas is going to emerge out of this series. I think you got a fresher team. I think you've got a more dominant team at home. They have home field advantage throughout everything, throughout the AL and throughout the World Series, because the AL did win the All-Star game. So if they make it to the World Series, they're going to have home field as well.
Okay.
All right. So, but there's another team that I think is going to knock them off in the next round, and you already know who that is. Boston Red Sox are facing the Cleveland Indians. And surprisingly, what ended up happening here was that Cleveland actually played very, very well in the last couple of weeks of the season. They never took the foot off the gas, Dream. So what's ended up happening now is that they actually have home field over Boston, which is kind of crazy because Boston was red hot for a while, and then I think they won 11 games in a row, and it just kind of fell flat. It sucked. But anyway, everybody said, David Price is getting the money, he's the bomb, and he's going to start every single game one. Well, I said not so fast months ago. And sure enough, Dream, Rick Porcello is getting a nod for game one. That's where we're at with that. Boston is minus 144 with an under-over of 8.5 runs, guys. Looking at this game here, looking at the matchup with the Boston Red Sox, who are 93-69 versus the 94-67 Cleveland Indians. Guys, you already know what Boston could do with their bats. One of the most prolific offenses in the major leagues, 5.41 runs a game. So this is my team, and this is my pick to win the World Series. Big Poppies last year. A lot of fireworks going on. I think the Boston Red Sox are going to get it done this year, and it would be very, very nice to see, to be honest with you. Little farewell tour for Big Poppy going on. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not feeling Big Pop at all. And the Red Sox better not take the Cleveland Indians for granted.
I agree with you.
Because, some of the Red Sox woes that we have seen them have been on the road.
Yep.
You see them going into a game like today, and you see them having a little bit of a level of confidence, and it behooves them to not really take this game for granted and to really go all out, because, they could be looking at Cleveland saying, whatever. Cleveland has a stellar home record. 53-28 at home.
Right.
Absolutely stellar home record. So it behooves them to not, take this game. I know, obviously it's a playoff game, so who's going to not take it serious, right? Yeah. Well, you can have a level of confidence when you're the Red Sox. Your bats have been, been dominant for you. But your pitching I think the pitching's really been up and down for the majority of the season.
Right. And you know what? If you go back to the beginning of the year and you looked at these two teams and you said to yourself, who would be the starting pitchers if they met in the playoffs? You would say David Price versus Corey Kluber. Well, that's not the case here. Rick Porcello versus Trevor Bauer, Dream. And I announced the odds on the show earlier before you came on. Cleveland is an underdog here, plus 134 on Cleveland. Boston minus 144 because of Rick Porcello and that prolific offense. Rick Porcello, kid, 22-4, Dream, over the course of the year. 3.15 ERA.
No doubt.
So he's looking pretty good. And Boston in the last 6 games just kind of took their foot off the gas. 1-5 in their last 6 games after winning 11 in a row, Dream. So this is something, like you said, don't take Cleveland that lightly. Cleveland 15-5 in the last 20 games at home. It's going to be electric out there. So they're just going to have to overcome that crowd and hit the damn ball and have a pretty good game by Rick Porcello in order to get out of there. You know what? When you start your series on the road, you just got to get that one game, Dream. Got to get that one game. And I don't trust David Price tomorrow, to be honest with you. So I think that they should definitely come out gangbusters today and get this game won. Then tomorrow, maybe we fade David Price. I
don't know, Hat. I just don't know. I mean, we're going to get a look at it tonight. Maybe we'll see something from the Red Sox as far as, are they going to just try to outscore this guy? Are they going to rely on pitching? In these playoff situations, as I can remember it, pitching is what's dominant.
Of course.
It's like all of a sudden, for some reason, your bats kind of go stale. I don't know if guys get pensive, if, you put in this spot, they're a little bit nervous. I don't really know what the situation is, but we've seen a lot of really good batting teams or teams that have, relied on a lot of hits for the majority of the season. We have seen that go stale in the playoffs. So it's going to be very interesting tonight to see what the Red Sox are really bringing to the table, whether those bats are going to be able to fire it up and get it done, or whether they're going to try to rely on pitching. And I got news for them. If they have to rely on pitching, I feel very nervous for them.
I agree. And you know what, too? A lot of teams that have played small ball have been very successful. And what we mean by small ball is, advancing runners with bunts, stealing bases, stuff like that, which the New York Mets just didn't do all year. And that was part of their demise. Dream, they had a leadoff double at one point with no outs. It could not advance the runner. I mean, put the ball on the ground, get him to third. Then if you got to pop up in the outfield, you're scoring a run. So I just don't know. Terry Collins came out and said that they weren't capable of doing that because they're more of a power hitting team, which made
sense.
It's so stupid.
I love when you're a professional and you're not capable of something. So, because I will never understand that.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb, man. So anyway, that's where we have with the AL playoffs today, Dream, as far as baseball is concerned. Pretty long show talking about baseball so far, but it's a playoff.
Well, I mean, it's the playoffs, player. Come on.
Playoffs.
You can't take enough time. Anytime there's a playoff situation, you guys know, as far as I'm concerned, whenever wagering is talked about, you want maximum effort. A playoff effort is what you call the epitome of maximum effort. Anytime you're in a playoff and then World Series, any type of championship, Super Bowl, etc., etc., obviously the athletes are just that more tuned up to want to win. And if you're going to wager on something, to me, that's where you want to be at, compared to anything else that's regular season. Because, I mean, you think about it, football games, there's going to be more. We got more weeks of football. We got more weeks of college football. Basketball just getting started, a whole bunch of that forward. So we're going to spend a little bit of extra time now on baseball because this is that time that you're getting your max effort out of all these guys.
Right. Exactly. So, Dream, I'm going to move over real quick to the NBA. Did you get a chance to take a look at Golden State with Kevin Durant at the helm?
I did not. I'm not. Listen, you know me. It's not enough time for me to cover all of these sports and to get involved in it. And especially, you turn on the preseason game, and if you miss the first 10 seconds of it, now you're doing, the booty stuff. Right. So, no, I really didn't get into seeing any of it. But go ahead if you did.
Well, they beat the hell out of the Clippers. And I think that this team is going to basically tear through everybody with Kevin Durant.
But did everybody play, or did it? How did that work?
Kevin Durant was the leading scorer in the game, from what I understand. But they did sprinkle in everybody.
Okay,
they're going to tear through everybody. This team is good, man. You know what? It almost seems like it's just another addition, and they haven't missed a beat as far as their offense is concerned. And then you add Kevin Durant in the mix, and it's just lights out. Dream.
I would get excited, but I'm not.
But you're not.
But I'm not.
Okay. Well, considering the fact that you can't make any money for them to win the NBA championship, you have to actually lay, I believe, minus 140. You have to lay $140 to make $100 for them to win the title, Dream. The title. Right. It's berserk how that
and
is.
And I see that Kevin Durant did play 24 minutes. Green played 22 minutes. Steph Curry 23. Thompson played 21. So I guess they did play a little bit of basketball as far as the game is concerned. I'm still not going to get excited when I look up at the Clippers. Chris Paul played 13 minutes. Yeah. JJ Redick played 14 minutes. So basically the Clippers sprinkled in their guys, but the Warriors played their guys all out, probably trying to get that chemistry together. Listen, last year we saw a very dominant Golden State team during the regular season, and then lose in the playoffs. Lose in the NBA Finals. Not saying that's going to happen this year, and I know they're that much stronger with Kevin Durant. I'm going to have to take a big pause with getting really overly excited about this Golden State Warrior team.
Got it. Okay. It's time for football, Dream. Time to get involved in football today because we got the NFL and we got the NCAA popping tonight. So, got a couple of games on the ticket. Are you ready for the NCAA?
Well, first of all, really quick, we do have, guys, I got to be honest with you. The whole technical difficulty has thrown this thing off. I had a nice New York segment for everybody called New York Nasty, if you're involved in New York sports. Why you just we talk about New York sports, and we've had this success with the Giants as far as the 2 Super Bowls are concerned. Right. But outside of that, if you are a New York fan, Mets, Jets, Giants, and I know you guys hear Dr. Dan come on, he seems to be holding it down with all of that. It is just a nasty card and a plethora of just heartbreaking New York disappointments. And you look at the New York Giants and, this Odell Beckham thing with the New York Giants. I heard Odell making comments about he's not having fun anymore. Hey, Odell, guess what? Not having fun anymore? Walmart is hiring in a plethora of other places. You go at UPS and pack boxes. You'd be awesome catching those boxes on the back of the truck.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, you got your opportunity. Your window of this is going to go by so quickly. And these guys, you think they would learn from past guys. We look at Terrell Owens. We look at Chad Ochocinco. At least they celebrated in the end zone and had some of their issues out, with their end zone and touchdown situations. Odell's not even doing that. This sport will pass you by in the blink of an eye. We saw T.O. at the end of his career and even Ochocinco at the end of his career. When both of those guys probably had another 2, maybe 3 years left to play, that the NFL just was like, you know what? We're not even dealing with you idiots no more. Like enough. Like it's not even important. We know you can still probably play, but so what? All that comes along with you, we don't feel like dealing with, so we're just moving on. Odell Beckham, same thing. Dude, you want to be a distraction to your team, act like a clown on the sideline? The minute that you have fallen off a half of a step, you're getting kicked to the curb, and you'll wish you had this opportunity again. Right.
I couldn't agree more with you on that. Now, I'm looking at what they got coming up, Dream. They got to go to the Tundra next. Sunday Night Football. They got to go to the frozen tundra and play Mr. Aaron Rodgers in that offense.
And then the thing that drives me crazy, they interview dude after the game, and he's complaining about, when it comes to me, there's no calls. Oh, just like my kids do that, dude. You know what I'm saying? Just Why go out there and you are a paid professional, okay? You're getting mad attention, adornment, money, anything you can ask for is getting thrown your way. Go out there and execute. Nobody wants to hear these nonsense excuses. Everybody, there's a hit or two on any player out there, maybe a little bit after. There's a sideline hit on. Like, you're not exempt to any of that. You garnered all this attention. You wanted all this attention. You've done stuff in the offseason to get you the attention. You go out an hour or four before the game and practice just catching one-handed catches. So you've brought a lot of the extra attention on yourself. Now you need to execute and live up to the hype that you built for yourself. It's your own marketing machine. So now you got to go live up to it. And nobody is feeling you pouting and acting like somebody's picking on you at this point.
Right on.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Right on. Hey, I just got to send a shout out to my kid. He made the varsity kickoff team, and he is the second string linebacker, Dream.
Dope.
So, obviously, I pray that nobody gets hurt or whatever. But if one linebacker goes down, he's going to be under the Friday Night Lights as a freshman.
Awesome.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. So I'm very proud of him. So, yeah, here's the problem, though. Now I got to travel on the road and watch him play kickoff.
That's awesome.
So he'll at least get in one play. So hopefully the team scores a bunch of points. I can see him, time and time again, and hopefully he makes some tackles and hears his name out there. But anyway, football is here, guys, and we got to talk about what we got going on tonight. And this segment is brought to you by MyBookie.net. MyBookie is the only football contest site where you can play for fun and win for real. Whether you're an expert or a rookie, play now at MyBookie.net. So, Dream, we're going to get into this, and we have to talk. We're going to start with college football, and then we're going to move on to the pro because we got a little bit of time here left, so we're going to talk about it. So, looking at tonight's matchups, we got two on the ticket, and I think one of them is going to have some fireworks in this particular situation tonight, as you have the Conference USA popping. And I'm looking at the matchup here. You've got Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, who are facing Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs. And Louisiana Tech is at home tonight. They are a 2.5-point underdog, Dream, at home. Shall I even say what that means? I think everybody that listens to the show knows that a home team underdog is on prime time is very nice to bet. You got Western Kentucky, who's getting about 78% of the bets that it looks like on my board, and they're minus 2.5. Under over 68.5. It started at 64. It's jumped up to 68.5. So it looks like a lot of people are pounding this over. Dream, have you watched any of these teams or not?
I've seen a tad bit, just a smidge of Western Kentucky and not a whole hell of a lot. I saw Western Kentucky live. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. My bad. I seen a whole lot of them because I saw them live at the Vanderbilt game. My bad. Yes, I did see Western Kentucky at the Vanderbilt game. They are led by Mike White, who's their dynamic quarterback. 87 for 137 attempts, 1367 through the air with 9 touchdowns. Now, this team gravitates around Mike White. Watch this team in action. White throws the ball, runs the ball. He's extremely athletic. He's one of their more athletic players on this team. The only problem with this team is they tend to run a lot more plays than your average team. It's almost like they're not quite a no huddle, but very. It's definitely a tempo offense.
Okay.
And the problem is that when they aren't able to execute, it looks real ugly, and it leaves their defense out on the field for quite some time.
Well, we saw it in the Alabama game. We saw Alabama just completely be dominant versus this team, and surprisingly, they were able to hang in the game for a little while versus Alabama. But I mean, it's a whole different league.
Sure.
of competition. You know what I'm saying? So looking at this here, I mean, this game, these two teams do have the capacity to score a lot of points, Dream. So I understand the over. as far as being, 68.5, people pounding that and all that. So, I don't know. Looking at it here, I might just sit back and watch this. Western Kentucky is 3-2, but remember, they had a pretty rough schedule moving forward here. And Louisiana Tech is 2-3, but they're 2-0 at home. And when you look at who Louisiana has played, Louisiana Tech almost beat Arkansas, Dream, in Arkansas.
Right.
They lost by 1 point, guys. And the other 2 losses were at Texas Tech and at Middle Tennessee State. So, you know what? This team is not that bad. I think both of these teams are honestly very, very similar as far as their level of competition, as far as their offensive prowess, and as far as their game plan offensively as well. So I'm going to watch this one. I don't like a side.
Okay.
I don't even like a teaser, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if one offense is clicking and the other one's not, it could be a 2-touchdown deficit either way.
Sure.
When you have that spread type, fast tempo offense, you could definitely score at will on this other team. So I think I'm going to stay away from it, Dream. I'm going to watch it and go.
I got to be honest with you right now. I really like Western Kentucky in this particular situation. Western Kentucky, I feel like they're maybe finally getting in a groove.
Okay.
And I feel like their program is just a little bit better as far as offensively polished and execution is concerned. I like Western Kentucky and what they bring to the table a little bit more than I like Louisiana Tech. I feel like Western Kentucky's program is closer to moving into that upper B tier for a program than Louisiana Tech, which I probably still have upper C, lower B in my tier level of ranking these teams. I do like Western Kentucky's ability to maintain a lot of focus on the road. Went into Vandy, and I know I talk about Vandy being a bad team, but when you're talking about college football, I don't care what team you are, when you go on the road and you play and you have some success, all right? We saw some success out at Alabama. Like you said, they hung in for a minute, and we saw some success at Vanderbilt. Even though Vanderbilt was able to overcome and win in overtime, Western Kentucky turned that ball over a bunch of times in that Vanderbilt game. Probably should have lost in regulation, but were able to get enough poise to bring themselves back in the game. For those reasons, I do like Western Kentucky tonight. I would definitely involve them in a teaser situation because we do have the home team dog on prime time thing going on, but I do lean towards Western Kentucky if you're out there thinking I like Western Kentucky.
All right, Louisiana Tech scores 36 points a game, where Western Kentucky scores a little over 33 per game. So, all right, Dre, moving on to the next one that we have on the ticket tonight. We have the Temple Owls at the Memphis Tigers. Memphis 3-1 on the year, 3-0 at home. Temple 3-2, 0-1 away. Memphis minus 10, Dream, with an under-over of 60 points.
Very, very interesting line.
Very interesting line. Do you think Memphis has any business giving that many points to Temple?
I absolutely don't.
Okay.
But Memphis's defense allowing 319 yards and 156 through the air. But what's bothersome to me is they allowed 162 on the ground. Okay. And that's, did I say Temple's defense or I say Memphis defense?
You said Memphis.
I'm sorry, Temple's defense, allowing 162 yards on the ground. That might give Memphis a slight advantage because you look at Memphis and their running back, who's 44 carries and 250 yards with 4 touchdowns. He may have some success against this Temple defense, against Temple defense, which will keep the ball out of Temple's offense's hands. So I still think that's way too many points, though.
It seems like a lot. I mean, I got punched in the face with Temple in the beginning of the year, Dream, where they lost to Army. I could have sworn Temple was going to beat Army, and they had no answer for the triple option whatsoever. Memphis, on the other hand, I mean, they did just lose at Ole Miss by 20 points. Coming home, at home, I mean, they have been dominant at home. They beat Bowling Green 77-3. Wow. Beat Kansas 43-7. I mean, this team has the ability to blow you out, but I just don't know. I think this game is going to be a little tighter than everybody thinks. To be honest with you, I just can't get involved in it either. I just 10.5 just bothers me. It really does. Temple is 14-6 in the last 20 games, and Memphis is 19-5 straight up in their last 24. Guys, if you're out there gambling on this, I wish you the best of luck, but 10 to 10.5 points just seems like an awful lot to me, Dream.
And gang, I'm sorry, like, if I don't sound like myself, just be advised, I'm still over here. I'm dealing with, like, right now, I seriously feel like I'm on a rotary telephone.
Okay, yeah.
Or maybe in a phone booth, if anybody can remember that. This is just, I mean, I'm struggling with the audio and the feedback and all that, but I'm trying to get through here with you guys and give you my thoughts, but I am struggling with this particular, what we're trying to get done here right now.
Dream cannot hear the music today, guys.
I can't, not only can I not hear the music, you're in and out as well.
Okay.
I can hear you slightly and I can't, and it's just crazy what I'm trying to deal with, but I'm trying to get through it for you.
You are. And just because Dream can't hear the music, I'm going to play Return to the Mac. Just so you know. Get a little Return to the Mac going in the background.
Just so you know, Return to the Mac was officially banned 6 months ago. I put it to rest.
Yes.
When the Cavs beat Golden State, I said if I hear Return to the Mac one more time, I'm quitting.
Yeah, well, you can't hear it right now, so it's all good. All right. Thursday Night Football, Dream. We got 10 minutes left in the show, so let's go right through this. We got the Arizona Cardinals, who have been absolutely wrecking bankrolls out there. Going into another team that has been wrecking bankrolls, and that is the San Francisco 49ers.
I don't know whose bankroll the Niners been wrecking.
Didn't you say last week everybody on Twitter was on San Francisco?
Yeah, that's their fault, though.
Yeah, right. San Francisco plus 3.5, home team underdog again.
If you listen to this program, which I know you guys do and still did it anyway, which I get that sometimes. I'm all about, hey, this is what I think I'm doing, so I don't care who tells me not to. But take it from your boy who's a diehard Niner fan. The Niners and what you're trying to do, it's just not going to be successful, okay? Chip Kelly is not an NFL coach that I've already talked about a plethora of times. The Niners don't really have good NFL talent, which I talked about a plethora of times. It's just what the Niners got going on right now is just called a conundrum of a mess. So for you to ever really want to back them, with the exception of, I don't know, maybe tonight, because you got that home team doggone primetime thing and you got that number 4. So who knows what could happen? They could have a Griffin show up at the game.
Yep.
Fly in and drop down on the field and play for them. But honestly, the problem is the Arizona Cardinals, this is a serious must-win situation for them.
It is.
They're 1-3 right now. They need a win worse than ever. And the Niners stink. And while I do not love this Arizona Cardinal team, I know that the Niners are awfully, awfully, awfully bad.
They are. Both teams are 1-3 right now. And Arizona has had some real big challenges playing in San Francisco, Dream. Do you realize that in the last, what is it here? I have it written down here. Playing in San Francisco, this team is 4-10 straight up in the last 14 games when playing the 49ers, Dream. And on the road versus the 49ers, 1-6 in the last 7 games.
I know.
They can't
Unfortunately, I can't feed into any of that because there's a bunch of different players that we're playing in. I'm sure your starting QB was absolutely different in that situation. You know, the thing with the Cardinals is they're 1-3, dude.
I know.
There's certain situations in football, and I know the Cardinals haven't looked good this season, but we know that the Cardinals, pound for pound, have a lot more talent and are able to execute the ball, even on a half of a leg, much better than the San Francisco 49ers can. You look at the Cardinals. You know, now we don't know if Carson. I got Carson Palmer being questionable still. Do you know if he's playing?
I do not. I got to look into it.
All right, I got Carson Palmer being questionable and possibly out tonight, that is definitely going to be a subject to scratch your head with. I still think that the Cardinals, even without Carson Palmer, can find a way to beat this Niner team. I don't like what the Niners bring to the table as far as their offense is concerned. Defensively, they're pretty good. Offensively, they're inept. And the way they run their offense doesn't help them out because it puts their defense in a bad situation if the offense goes 3 and out. The Cardinals should look to try to rely on their defense and rely on a running game a little bit more than trying to pass the ball downfield, especially if they got to go to the backup quarterback, which it looks like they may have to do. I would not take this game minus its spread. I think you take this game. I think you put it with Western Kentucky. I think you tease both of them. And that's my synopsis for tonight.
Get Arizona plus 3.5?
Get Arizona plus 3.5.
Not a bad look. Not a bad look at all. Now, what if you got Ryan Lindley at the helm?
Ryan Lindley.
Then what are you going to do? You're really going to take Ryan Lindley?
No, you're not going to take Ryan Lindley, but he's not the backup.
Just saying. We all know how that experiment goes south. I don't like this game. You know what? You know how I feel about interdivision matchups.
I know how you feel about interdivision matchups, and I get you under normal situations.
There's so many things adding up to this game being a trap. And San Francisco.
The problem is the Cardinals are 1-3.
I know. So is San Fran.
Yeah, but the Cardinals are a 1-3 last year playoff team. The San Francisco's are 1-3, which is where they were probably at this time last year.
Okay.
So what I'm getting at is there's one team that's real comfortable being 1-3 saying, hey, you know what? We already actually won more games than we expected to at this point. And you got another team that's saying, hey, what the hell is going on?
Okay. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to let you go on that island all by yourself. If anything, Dream, to be honest with you, I may consider going under in this game. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you look at Arizona and what they've been trying to do offensively, it just hasn't been working.
No.
If they cannot throw the ball down the field, they have major challenges moving the ball. And San Francisco, the defense isn't that bad. I mean, I know they give up a lot of points, but, when you look at them, it just seems like, they're at times they're able to stop you in certain situations, in like, third and shorts or inside the red zone and stuff, hold you to field goals and all that. If you got a backup quarterback here, especially if it's a Ryan Lindley or somebody like that, I could see Arizona's defense coming to play.
Right.
I could see the 49ers defense coming to play. I think this game could be ugly. Nasty, and stay under, to be honest with you.
My issue with that is Arizona is a pass team. Even as ugly as we think that they've been, they're still passing for 299 yards.
With Carson Palmer, though.
With Carson Palmer. Now, what you might get here with the backup coming in, you might see him able to move this offense a little bit more efficiently than Carson Palmer, only because not locked into one specific receiver, not locked into one play, offense dumbed down for him to find success. I mean, I think that's what you have a lot going on in the NFL. When you look at the success of Wentz, when you look at the success of Sam Bradford, look at the success of Dak Prescott, you're talking about guys that aren't locked into specific situations like some of the quarterbacks that have been there for a tenure and having a lot of success. So you might actually see more success with the backup with this finely tuned machine working than you've seen with Carson Palmer because, he's just used to doing it a specific way and thinks that that's going to work, and it's apparently not working. So there's an unknown element there. Look, I just don't see the Cardinals by any stretch of the imagination. I don't see them losing. I cannot see them being 1-4 at the end of the night, and I don't think they can either, whoever is the quarterback. I think they're going to be able to rely on their running back, get their running back going. I think they're going to be able to rely on their receivers a little bit to get some separation and rely on their defense to keep San Fran from scoring and having some success. So I happen to like the Arizona Cardinals, and I think their coaching staff is a lot better than this dysfunctional San Francisco team.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I wish you the best of luck with that one.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to probably go under in this game. The under came to form the other night with Minnesota and the Giants. I knew that was going to happen. So hopefully this one works out, and maybe I'll open up a teaser and get it up to 49.5 or something like that, and keep it open to the weekend because I see a couple of spots that I'm feeling over the weekend, Dream. And real quick before we close out of here, guys, Tom Brady is back. And he will be starting his tender off in Cleveland as they're given 10.5 on Sunday, Dream, in Cleveland.
And as I put on Twitter, I can't wait to see I'm taking Cleve because everybody's on.
Dude, I am dying to see Cleveland win that game. I would love that. I would
everybody
love.
take
There's
Cleve.
nothing I'd like more in sports than to see Cleveland win that game and beat Brady in his first time.
All the Twitter geniuses that's taking Cleve because all the money is going to be on the Patriots. Stand up.
It went from 7.5 all the way up to 10.5 already, guys. Cleveland 0-4, New England 3-1, coming off the shutout that was issued to them by the Buffalo Bills last week. So, Dream, that's going to do it for us. We got to get out of here. So, what do you got to do to close out of here?
Hey, I'm just going to listen. I'm just out of here, guys. Sorry. It just, unfortunately, on my end, I feel like I didn't give you what you guys, listen for. We're going to try to get this thing fixed up. Once we get out of here, we're going to try to get it fixed up. And hopefully tomorrow, everything will be up and running back to usual. As I always say, make the most of each and every day because you cannot get this time back.
All right. Sounds good, Dream. Thank you very much for joining us, regardless of the capacity that you joined us in. It's all good. Guys, we love you to death. It's the kickoff to the weekend. It is Thursday Night Football among us. Tomorrow we'll be back on Friday having a very good time with everybody. Whatever you do whatever it is you got to do whatever it is you want to do in life and get that money. Let's go!